Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Monday, ooh, Avenue.
Buckle up and join the best. Let's see, relieve your stress. So yes, let the music soothe your soul and keep it going just to refresh. Buckle and enjoy the ride from 2 to the half of the 5. Mondays to Fridays happening live. Where we gon' have a ball, you can text your guys. Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. Are you ready for the traffic avenue? Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. An applause for the traffic avenue.
Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, the Traffic Avenue. Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, Traffic Avenue.
City 97.3. More variety. City 97.3. Accra.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
City
News. It's 17:30 GMT. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 City FM. I am Umaru Sanda Amadou, and tonight I'm here with
Akusia Oche.
And coming up over the next 90 minutes, Anthrax outbreak in Upper East region affects 13 people and kills at least one. Will be in the region for updates. Also coming up, Greater Accra region NDC boiling as Chairman Ashimo revokes the suspension of a constituency executive by the regional secretary Theophilus Tetechai. And later, NPP elects Charles Opoku as parliamentary candidate in the upcoming Asin North parliamentary by-election. And still on Eyewitness News, we hear from the National Labour Commission. It has given the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission a 14-day ultimatum to reverse a decision to strike out some allowances due workers of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. Stay with 97.3 CTFM for more on this and many other stories on Eyewitness News. And in business,
The business community advocates for the review of some outdated trade policies to enhance trade.
that's in 15 minutes from the business desk of CTFM and City TV. Eyewitness News is live across Ghana on a number of affiliate stations. I'll be giving you a list of stations that you can listen to us on in case you plan to go out of the region. If you are going outside Accra. So we are on Tumpani Radio 88.5 in Nadoli. We are on Jirapa 96.1 FM in Nadoli, in Jirapa, beg your pardon. We are also on Rekas 92.1 FM in Bongo, Namu. We are on North Star Radio 92.1 in Tamale. We are on Nobia 98.1 FM in Nalerigu. We are on Beach 105.5 FM and Sky Power 93.5 FM, both in Takoradi. We are on Focus 94.3 FM and Orange 107.9 FM, both in Kumasi. We are also on Sela Radio 97.1 FM in Dabala. We are on Holy FM 98.5 FM in Aflao. We are also on Kasha 99.5 FM in Damongo. The show is also live on YouTube and live on Facebook. We are live on citynewsroom.com. It's an interactive show, so you can send us your messages using the WhatsApp number 0549 986 996. 0549 986 996. Alternatively, you can go on Twitter and drop a message there for me. The Twitter handle is at Umaru Sanda. You can also tweet at City973 and the world will hear what you think. 0549 986 996. That's a WhatsApp number. Eyewitness News is effectively airborne from number 11 Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka in Accra. We start off with labor-related issues now. Recall that we brought you a story where workers of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation were unhappy with an action taken by the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. The Fair Wages and Salaries Commission had struck some allowances due the workers of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, saying that these allowances were not due the workers, but they were earning same. The matter was taken to the National Labour Commission, which has ruled this afternoon. And the National Labour Commission is currently hearing a complaint brought before it by the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. And a decision has just come up over the last few minutes. Let me read that for you as it's sent by Fauzu Mohammed of the City Newsroom. And it says the National Labour Commission has given the Fair Wages and Salary Commission a 14-day ultimatum to reverse its decision to strike out some allowances of workers of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation and restore all deductions made from their salaries. The unionized staff of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation are up in arms with the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission's directive to rule out some allowances they are said to be enjoying but are not entitled to. The National Labour Commission, in a hearing of a complaint tabled before it by the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission over the threats by the staff of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation in demand of the allowances, described the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission's directive as unlawful. Reacting to the National Labour Commission's directive, General Secretary of the Public Services Workers Union, Bernard Ajay, said he believes the directive, when met, will avert any further unrest. Let's hear from the workers now. Samuel Natkevo is Divisional Union Chairman of the GBC. I believe congratulations are in order. Your allowances will remain as they are. Fair Wages has no right to touch them, at least what we are receiving from the NLC. But you in the thick of affairs, you were in the meeting. Tell us what transpired.
Yes, very well. Thank you very much and greetings to your chairs and listeners. Yeah, as we've been raising issue about the procedure that we think fair wages did not take and the violation of the labor law, as we were given short notice yesterday, we appeared before the committee, or the commission rather, we were able to look into the matter and they arrived at a decision that the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission didn't follow due process, not giving the union hearing, and the issue that they came out with will not let anybody on it, so they should reverse the decision, and then the two parties will go into a discussion or negotiation if there should be any review, and come back to report to the Labour Commission in 2 weeks' time. And we also asked the union to also call off the strike. This is what the directives have been given by the Labour Commission.
All right. So does it mean that the Labour Commission is saying the procedure for the withdrawal of your allowances is wrong, or the Labour Commission is saying the withdrawal in its entirety is wrong?
Yeah, the entirety is wrong because their directive is grounded in law because of the Labour Act 105 plus 4. That the issue at stake, the allowances that are at stake are allowances that are negotiated for in the collective agreement. So no party can unilaterally vary the conditions that have been agreed upon. Only the two-party or negotiating team can sit down together and review or reverse anything that they think, any problem that they found onto it. So Labour Commission arrived at that decision that Fair Wages didn't follow that process. They unilaterally taking that decision, so the decision must be reversed.
I see. So this is with immediate effect the directive of the NLC, or this could be subject to review.
The directive is immediate effect, and the union has also been directed to call off the strike.
Now, has Fair Wages indicated that it accepts the decision of the NLC?
I think the two parties they all accepted the decision of the NLC. I've not seen any indication from or any disagreement from Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, those who were represented at the meeting or the hearing.
Which means that you have also effectively agreed to arrest all plans in terms of labor issues that you or mass actions that you had planned to engage in.
Man, union executives alone don't declare intention to go on strike or declare strike. What they do is that we meet our constituent body, and the issue is not only pertaining to Accra alone. So the regions, across the region, will not normally come to pass a resolution. So as of this, we have to meet our constituencies and then take a decision, and that this is the directive from the Labour Commission. At that time, we would have wished that the written response or communication will come to us so that at such deliberation we should reach out to the concert body. Then we do the needful.
It's interesting that you are not the complainant in this case, but you still won. Often, when labor organizations appear before the NLC and the NLC takes a decision that is favorable to government, labor unions would usually say that the government is almost like a mouthpiece of the government, and for that matter, is not favorable to workers. I believe I had an interview not long ago with you, and I'm not sure you're also happy with the position that was taken by the NLC at the time. What do you make of this decision of NLC now, considering that it is giving you victory over the government institution?
Man, I don't see this as a game of who won or who lost. I think that it is a correction that the Labor Commission has done. My interview with you yesterday or the previous time was that there has been a perception about the Labor Commission of most of the workers. And this is a test case for the commission to do the needful to change the narrative. Because I would have been surprised, ultimately surprised if it didn't go the way that the decision was taken. So yes, sometimes when you go in your favor, you're happy. If it doesn't go in your favor, but most often than not, workers have not been happy of Labor Commission decision. We are so grateful for the such decision to be taken, and it will erase some of the doubts that some workers within GBC and then out of GBC have been having about the commission, and it is our hope and fervent hope that they will continue in this direction.
Thank you so much for speaking to us, sir.
That's my pleasure.
That's Samuel Nat Kevo. He's Divisional Union Chairman of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, GBC. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 CTFM. So the story is that the National Labour Commission has said that a decision by Fair Wages and Salaries Commission to withdraw some allowances or to slash down some allowances of workers of the GBC is unlawful, and these allowances ought to be reversed to the workers, and the workers have also been ordered to go back to work or arrest or seize all plans which are mass actions that it intended or the workers intended to embark on. We've just heard there from the workers, very happy. We've not heard from Fair Wages and Salaries Commission as yet, but that is what our reporter is sending to us from the NLC offices, and that is the information that we have. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 CTFM. We are coming to you from our studios in Adabraka. In Accra, we are also around the globe on citynewsroom.com. Let's talk about the education sector now, shall we?
Yes, civil society organizations in the education sector have kicked against government's decision to replace textbooks with laptops in senior high schools nationwide. Their objection arises from an announcement made by Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Baumia stating that textbooks and other teaching materials would be installed on the laptops for use during lessons with the aim of preparing students to adapt to the global village. During a press conference, Kofi Asario, who is the executive director of Africa Education Watch, deemed this initiative unnecessary.
Education Watch, Ghana National Education Campaign Coalition, and the Civil Society SDG platform believe that textbooks can never be replaced with e-textbooks. A laptop can never take the place of a printed textbook. It has never been so in any country, and it will never work in Ghana. And so, if government has any plans to introduce laptops, it should be within a different context, at a different time, where it probably will be a complement to printed textbooks. But textbooks on laptops, that is e-textbooks, can never replace printed textbooks.
He further urged Parliament to reject any agreement when it comes before it, especially when a request for tax exemptions is brought before them.
Because we know that in the unlikely event, because we believe government will listen to us, in the unlikely event of government not listening to us, it will then proceed to Parliament to look for exemption for the laptops. We are urging Parliament to reject any portion of the agreement that appears before the House, especially in the case of an anticipated tax exemption. But as I said, we believe and trust that it won't get to that point because we know that the government is a listening one. Finally, to the Ministry of Education, more specifically to the Minister of Education, the lack of prior consultation on major policy decisions in the education sector continues to be a major challenge that must be addressed.
Kofi Asari is the executive director of education think tank Africa Education Watch.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
You know your papa see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, papa! Papa! Bobo, so how your engine now? It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Quartz and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that? Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz. And he switched. Sancho Panzapa. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation Movement World Cup like that? Sorry. Chairman Mane? Chairman. Hey, Chairman! Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Ajwapa, what's all this condom business? Oh, I've told her over and over again that she won't get pregnant, and she's still insisting. Oh, isn't she the same person who said we would not have sex till we go out for at least 2 years? For all this time? Oh, and she still can't trust me enough? Ama, when I try to do something small, no, condom this, condom that. So handsome man like me, she probably thinks I have HIV.
Using a condom will protect you and your partner. Condoms are effective for protection against a wide spectrum of STIs and HIV infection. Don't take risks. Use a condom every time. Always come prepared.
This advert is brought to you by the Ghana AIDS Commission.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 City FM. We are coming to you from our studios in Adabraka in Accra. Our big story tonight is that the National Labour Commission has ruled for workers of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. The Fair Wages and Salaries Commission had slashed some allowances of workers of the GBC. These workers were not happy and planned to embark on a mass action. The NLC intervened and invited them to a meeting with the NLC, Fair Wages and Salaries Commission today. A decision has been made by the NLC which says, do not interfere with their allowances, let them have their allowances, and you, the workers, do not embark on any action, go back to work. Let me bring you some of the messages that have been coming through. Emil Akwensivi in Sojaman in the Eastern region says, what's fair wages seeing before their implementation? Due diligence before everything. Everything about government appointees is disastrous. Why? They must be thrown away. Aka Paul Jr. and Ahafomim says the cause of the anthrax disease must rather be tackled instead of always finding temporary solutions, or else we'll hear of the same outbreak next year. I can bet you on that. Adenta Commandos, okay, Alex Kofi Arini from Adenta Commandos Research. He says the earlier the NDC takes immediate action and remedy the Greater Accra region of the NDC, the better, because it's now escalating to different levels. This one, okay, we'll be bringing you more of the messages as and when you send them. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 City FM. You can send yours to 0549 986 996. 0549 986 996. Let's go to the Upper East region now. And there's a story that is developing there, very disturbing one. It has to do with anthrax, an outbreak of same. The Office of the Upper East Regional Coordinating Council, which is headed by the regional minister, has issued an alert, and it says situational update on the confirmed anthrax outbreak in the Upper East region as of 7 June 2023. The details we have, between 13 people affected, one person dead. Thomas Duanab Wuni is the district chief executive for Talensi in the Upper East region, one of the districts that are affected. You're welcome to Eyewitness News, sir.
Thank you.
So, tell us what's happening in your specific district, and then I'll ask you to comment on the regional outlook if you have information on that. So, what's happening? What's happening in your district, sir?
Yeah, in my district, after we got information about the outbreak of anthrax in Binduri, we started mounting surveillance. Fortunately for us, because of the awareness creation, yesterday we noticed that 2 cows had died in a community called Dusi. And we have a national service chap who is a vet stationed around there. So he saw it and the symptoms were clear. So he called his bosses and they took samples. And the samples confirmed that anthrax had been traced into the district. So those dead cows were destroyed and buried. As far as we are aware, we do not have any human contact with the anthrax bacteria. Like we have taken up a more serious campaign, and we are sensitizing the people around and fitting into the regional regulation. As we talk, we have made move and stopped all butchers from slaughtering animals for sale in our market. And then we are starting full-scale vaccination from tomorrow, God willing. And the sensitization would still continue. We have a way of reaching out to every community by using our assemblymen and the chiefs. So we have sent circulations round to them to continue the announcements and the sensitization. So far, that is what has happened.
I see. The cattle that contracted the disease, which cattle has since been destroyed, they would have been part of a larger herd of cattle. Now, if this is transmittable from cow to cow, chances are that some of the cows in that herd may also be carrying this disease. Have you locked down that herd of cattle or gone to do a test on all the cattle and even the people who are taking care of the cattle?
Here, largely in my district, we have free-range animals. So if we have to do some quarantine, it means we may have to quarantine the whole of the district because obviously they are mixing. Nabdam is just very close. The next place from Dusi is Nabdam, Pelungo, which is very close. But what we have done is to keep monitoring closely so that any signs that we find out, then we can quickly move in. So I'm sure now the methods we're employing would yield us the desired results.
But what about the cowboys who were with these cows that have tested positive?
They are free range. They actually at this time we haven't started serious farming, so they just roam about.
But surely they have owners whom they return to every night and leave in the morning.
To houses. And we haven't had any indication of human infection.
Because you have had indication of human infection in other parts of the region, do you not think that as a precautionary measure...
They consume the carcass. They ate infected meat. Our people here, because of the awareness, they didn't eat any of the cows. And we are hoping that it stays like that so that nobody consumes any infected animal anywhere.
I know you're not a health official, but have you been advised that the transmission is only through consumption of the carcass or there's other way of transmission?
We had a meeting this afternoon with the technocrats, the district director of health, the vet, and the MOFA guy. And there was no indication to the effect that there could be airborne transmission. They didn't tell us that even by smelling around the area you could. have the anthrax bacteria. No.
I'm just looking at a quick Google search, which is telling me that anthrax is transmitted by breathing in spores or eating food or drinking water that is contaminated with spores or getting spores in a cut or scrape in the skin. Now, I do have an understanding of how your region operates. The dams that the cattle drink from would most likely be where the villagers also drink from. Now,
No, no, no.
if the
We
is that wrong?
we have gone past villagers drinking from the dams animals drink.
Really? If I came to Talensi, I wouldn't meet a single dam where the cattle drink water from and the people also fetch water
You
from.
wouldn't meet our people drinking from dams.
But they fetch it and take it home for washing and cooking meals?
Not really. Not really.
Doesn't
We have
happen.
enough boreholes
Oh, I
that
see.
are-
Congratulations. That's a huge advancement. I'm just hearing from you there. What about the general regional outbreak? What have you picked up?
Well, we are managing around our district, and whatever regional information that comes up, the regional minister and his staff would occasionally update us on how it looks like. But I haven't paid much attention, except that I'm aware that Binduri, the Tempani area, I think Garu, along that line, I mean, they are also taking stringent measures to make sure that the spread does not come around their areas.
I see.
There's generally a regional ban as we talk now of killing of animals and movement of animals. And I believe that will contain the spread of the disease wherever it may be.
I see. You also talked about vaccination that starts tomorrow. Shed more light on that, please.
Yeah, there were some vaccines, and they started in smaller scale since yesterday. But we have released funds for them to purchase a lot more, about 8,000 vials of the vaccine. So tomorrow we're going to see a large scale vaccination of animals. And we're starting from Dusi, where the bacteria is detected in those two animals. That's how we're going to start and then spread out into the whole district.
Now, do people have to necessarily contact you, or people should just stay put and have the officers come to the house?
They're just staying, and then we have mapped up the strategy, and the vet guys will get out there to just move from area to area.
Very well. Thank you so much for speaking to us, sir.
You're welcome.
That's Thomas Duanab Wuni. He's DCE for Talensi in the Upper East region. We can now hear from the Deputy Youth Chairman of the Upper East Butchers Association, Ibrahim Abeongo. He's been responding and reacting to this ban on the slaughtering of cattle in the region.
Decision concerning the anthrax? Yes, sir. Oh, the ban on slaughtering of animals. You are a butcher. What do you say about that?
We have nothing to say. So far is about, we have to take it like that, so we take it. It's normal. So we comply with the government.
So it means you will stop slaughtering and selling from tomorrow?
Yeah, we will stop slaughtering. Like maybe those who have meat in the fridge, tomorrow we will try to clear that one so that we'll stop. We'll stop until further notice.
How will this ban affect you as a butcher?
Oh, actually it will affect it a lot, but we have nothing to say. Maybe we are pleading with government, maybe if only he can help us with something small.
So that's Ibrahim Abeongo. He's the Deputy Youth Chairman of the Upper East Butchers Association, speaking to our correspondent Frederick Awuni in Upper East. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 City FM. We are coming to you from our studios in Dabraka in Accra. Let's go to the courts now, shall we? What's your name? Akosia.
Yes, the Court of Appeal has set June 14 to rule on an application by lawyers for former Cocoa Board Chief Executive Dr. Stephen Opuni, asking for full records of proceedings at the High Court. This follows a state's appeal of the decision of the new judge to adjudicate the case all over again. Justice Kwesi Anochijima, who took over from the previous judge, Justice Honyanuga, who retired in March this year, decided to start the case from scratch rather than to adopt the proceedings fraught with applications for Justice Honyanuga to recuse himself. The state filed the appeal on grounds that the decision of the new trial judge amounts to miscarriage of justice. During the appeal proceedings on Wednesday, lawyers for Opuni indicated that they do not have the full complement of the records from the High Court, which in their view will affect a fair adjudication of the matter. They thus asked for the full records before the appeal could be heard. The state which opposed the plea argued that the request is alien to the rules of criminal appeals. According to the Attorney General, Godfrey Dame, it is not mandatory for the full records to be given to the parties during an appeal, but the registrar of the court is at liberty to make available only relevant portions of the records. Now, the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Samuel Abdullahi Janapor, says the agrarian nature of the African economy and low adaptation capacities make the continent vulnerable to climate change crisis. Although Ghana and most African countries are the least actors of climate change, the minister noted that the continent stands at a higher risk of the negative impact of climate change. Speaking at the 43rd Management Week celebration held by the University of Ghana Business School on the theme Accounting for Climate Change and Environmental Sustainability, Our Collective Responsibility, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources stressed on the adverse impact of climate change on the country.
Here in Africa, due to the agrarian nature of our economy and our low adaptation capacities, we are more susceptible to these impacts. And thus, even though we are the least contributors to this climate crisis, estimated at approximately 4%, we bear the brunt of its adverse consequences. For example, the Ghana Meteorological Organization, in its recent report on the state of climate in Africa, observes that with the current rate of deglaciation, all of Africa's glaciers will melt and disappear in the next 2 decades. And this will lead to drought, floods, extreme heat for some 118 million people, and cause the continent's economy to shrink by 3%. This will derail all the gains we are making towards the attainment of the Sustainable Development Goals.
He called for urgent concerted efforts to fight the menace.
While this crisis continues, we must shoulder our responsibilities towards keeping our planet cooler. Our response to the climate change must be urgent, inclusive, and comprehensive in a way that strengthens the resilience of our ecosystems. And it must involve both individual and collective actions from the youth, civil society organizations, political and traditional leaders, local communities, public and private sector actors, as well as the academia. We all have a role to play. Mr. Chairman, fighting anthropogenic climate change requires that we establish a long-term path for environmental sustainability that caters for the needs of today's generations and that of tomorrow's, with healthy ecosystems of fauna and flora. Government continues to adopt policy measures geared towards environmental sustainability and socio-economic development, both at the micro and macro levels.
Samuel Abdullahi Janapor is Minister of Lands and Natural Resources. Now, the Greater Accra Regional Minister, Henry Korte, has announced that there are ongoing plans to modernize several market centers in the capital. This decision comes in response to a series of fire incidents that have occurred in various markets within the region. Speaking after donating an amount of 90,000 cedis to over 40 traders affected by the recent fire incidents at Tiptoe Lane near the Kwame Nkrumah interchange, he emphasized the importance of prioritizing safety measures to prevent future fires.
We'll have to work together with the city authorities to see, first of all, we need to understand why and what causes these fires. Once we understand them, then we know that we have a solution, both medium and permanent, and then we take it from there. But in the interim, it is imperative for the assemblies to go around and educate the traders. There are plans actually to modernize most of the markets in Accra, and definitely this is one of them. But we have to go through processes, to make sure that first of all it conforms with the scheme of plan around here, and then also to ensure that after the project has been done, those traders who are here are given a first refusal. So yes, of course, this place and the Ama Ata, and of course I speak as a regional minister, so it's not just this place. The other markets where we think that it will help to build an ultra-modern market to accommodate all and sundry who do business here. Well, you've heard me. Once you build a market, you create spaces for all others who sell here.
Greater Accra Regional Minister Henry Quartey. Now, Kina Likimani, daughter of the late author Ama Ata Aidoo, has commended Ghanaians for the expression of love for her mother's works as well as support shown since her passing. The prolific writer died on Wednesday, May 31, after a short illness. The only child of the literary icon shared fondest memories of her mother.
My family and I have been so touched and comforted by the many expressions of appreciation for my mother's writing, her work, and her legacy, for people expressing their condolences. She was a very humble person. So even when she was alive and someone would I say something nice about her and I'll read it to her, she'll be like, wow, really? If she was here now, she would be so overwhelmed, as I have been, by what people are writing about her, what they are saying about her online, not only in Ghana, but across Africa and the world. So my family and I, we really appreciate and are comforted, even though we are completely devastated by her demise. Yes. To date, we are working on, the family is working on the arrangements, and when the funeral date is set, we will, of course, tell the general public.
You heard Kina Likimani, the daughter of the late renowned author, Professor Ama Ata Aidoo.
You read her book, didn't you?
Oh,
her
I did,
books.
of course.
Yeah, that's a great...
Years ago, I think like 10 years or 15.
Mata, talking as if you didn't finish secondary school just last 2 years.
Please don't disgrace me.
Okay, I'm sorry, I withdraw. I mean, she's been a great pillar in the literary world. Exactly. I mean, as a student of literature back in Damascus,
okay,
I read a lot of her books. I mean, may she rest well, and Kina, be strong. This is Eyewitness News. We'll return shortly. Please stay.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
The other day, I visited Kweku at his spunky new office to congratulate him on opening his business. And man, was I impressed. The business is just moving quick. The sales, customers, everything is just working seamlessly. The secret? He said,
it's MTN Business Broadband. In this fast-paced environment, we need fast and reliable internet to support all business types. No laggy online meetings, great download and upload speeds, impeccable business management systems, all inclusive. I mean, you can have it all.
Shout! I signed on immediately.
To enable your business stay ahead and stay connected, make sure you're signed on to the best internet made just for businesses. MTN Business Broadband. Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh and manage your account on my MTN app. Call 0244 308 111 for more information. We are good together everywhere you go.
Kickstart your day the safe and right way with a freshly brewed cup of piping hot coffee from Shell Bakery or Vida E Cafe. Reconnect and catch up with friends and unwind over cheesy burger goodness during your lunch break at Burger King. Relax this evening with drinks and meals at Honeysuckle and Starbites.
Relax and enjoy the perfect weekend plan filled with fun, food, and family at KFC, Burger King, or Starbites.
Refuel your energy at Shell and let your adventure drive you on this road trip.
Take a break at any of our Shell stations and enjoy any of these great offers from our partner restaurants. Shell, go well.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 City FM. The Greater Accra Region NDC is in turmoil. Last 2 weeks, we brought you a story were the 40 cities that former President John Mahama, in the flag bearership race, gave to delegates who were coming to vote. We were told that there were some issues with that money which was supposed to have been distributed. Some delegates said they did not receive the money. When we called up the regional secretary, Theophilus Tetechai, he said the rest of the executives knew nothing about that money and that the regional chairman was the only person who knew anything about the money. Subsequently, the regional chairman elected one of the constituency chairmen, the one for Ayawaso West Wogon, Bismarck Abobi Ayiti, to speak to us on the issue. A few days later, things appear to have calmed down. But this morning, we woke up to two separate letters from the Greater Accra Regional NDC. The first one came from the Greater Accra Regional NDC chair, the Honorable Theophilus Tetechai, and the second one from the regional chairman, the Honorable Ni Ashimo. Both of them former MPs. The chairman, former MP for Adenta, the secretary, former MP for Ablekuma Central. So let's start with the secretary first. Akosia will read the content of the secretary's letter. What does it say?
Yes, so this was signed June 6, 2023. It says suspension of Bismarck Abobi Ayete, Ayawaso West Wogon. It says the Regional Executive Committee at its sitting on June 6, 2023 considered the conduct of the constituency chairman for Ayawaso West Wogon, Bismarck Ayete, for addressing the press on internal party issues against advice on the implications of his actions. His conduct is therefore in breach of Articles 48.8 and 49C of the party's constitution, and consequently, he has been suspended for 6 months and referred to the Regional Disciplinary Committee in accordance with Article 48.1. He is to hand over all party properties in his possession to the constituency vice chairman until the matter has been adjudicated upon. Counting on your cooperation. So it was signed by the regional secretary, Theophilus Tetechai.
So that's the first letter we saw, which suggested that Bismarck Abobi Ayiti had been suspended as constituency chairman. Few minutes later, we saw a fresh letter, this one from the regional chairman. What does that one say?
Also signed on June 6, it says suspension of Bismarck Abobi Ayiti. The Greater Accra Regional Chairman has taken notice of a purported letter of suspension of the Ayawaso West Wogon Chairman and wished to state the following. One, that a memo was written to the Regional Executive Committee which states clearly that all agenda and crucial decisions should be forwarded to me by mail or on WhatsApp for my inputs and directives. Two, however, in my absence, a letter cited with the above reference and I hereby write to declare that, given the non-compliance with the dictates of my memo, the action of the letter with the above reference is hereby declared null and void. Three, for the avoidance of any doubt, the letter to suspend the chairman is hereby revoked. Four, due to the happenings caused by the suspension letter in 20 constituencies, I have put on hold my trip in order to deal with the issues happening in the region. So he copied the national chairman, general secretary, and then the Ayawaso chairman. And attached to it is a letter.
A memo.
A memo, actually, indicating when he had written formally to the regional executives that he would be absent from official
What's
duties.
the date of this memo and what does it say?
So the memo was also signed June 6. It says absence from regional executive committee meetings. I write to officially inform you that I will be absent from the jurisdiction for 3 weeks for the purposes of attending to business meetings. Vice Chairman William Vigno should act in my absence, and I will advise that all agenda and crucial decisions should be forwarded to me by mail or on WhatsApp for my inputs and directives.
So that memo was written on June 6th, that's yesterday.
Right.
The same day, the General Secretary wrote a letter suspending the Ayawaso West constituency chairman.
Right.
And that same day, yesterday, the NDC regional chairman writes a letter to revoke the suspension.
Right.
We don't know the time, so there's no time on the letters, but we do know that they are all on the same date. Okay. Let's speak to the victim and beneficiary of the two letters. Bismarck Abobi Ayiti is the Ayawaso West Wagon chairman of the NDC. Bismarck, you're welcome to Eyewitness News. I don't know if I should describe you as suspended chairman or suspended revoked chairman, or I don't know. How do you describe yourself?
I describe myself as the constituency chairman for Ayawaso West Wagon.
Suspended by the general secretary, who is the administrator of your party in the region.
No, the suspension is null and void. So I am the substantive and the victorious chairman after all this brouhaha.
I see. Now, so it's like a comedy of errors in NDC Greater Accra. You are just in the middle. What is happening to your party?
Our party is strong and formidable in Greater Accra region. And as we speak now, the regional chairman and his executive are working hard to ensure that we add on to the number of seats we have in Greater Accra and to increase the number of votes for JGM come December 2024. In every organization of this nature, always there will be one or two misunderstandings. But when it happens, due process is required to settle all issues amicably. To be frank with you, my regional chairman, Mr. Ashimo, notified me, the chairman, that he will be out of the jurisdiction. That was yesterday. And the same day he wrote in the morning to his vice to take over his responsibilities. At the same time, report to him on daily basis, action and inaction. The same day, the vice chairman supervised a meeting around 12 to 1 p.m. And at that meeting, that decision to suspend me took place. Omaru, you and I have spoken about this issue before concerning the transportation money that JM willingly used to support branch or delegates who may be commuting from different communities to a center to come and vote and elect parliamentary and presidential leadership for our party. When that matter happened, you interviewed Honorable Tetechai for the first time based on allegations that you heard. And he really confirmed to you that there were people or delegates who were complaining that they didn't get their money. In your interview, you did ask Mr. Tetechai, did you consult the chairman who supervised the distribution of the money in his capacity as the campaign manager for JM? He said no, if you could remember. So that matter has really been in the public domain. So it's not a secret information. Even our flag bearer himself in Upper West indicated to all the members of the party that he will give us 40 cities to take transport and to feed ourselves, to come and express ourselves to elect leaders, both parliamentary and presidential. So it's not a secret information. And the first time, he was the first person to, speak to this matter openly in the media before we came in to reply. What we are saying is that Honorable Tetechai, our regional chairman, supervised the disbursement of the money in his capacity as a campaign manager. There is a receipt to that effect. So where there are operational challenges, we are expecting the secretary to talk to the chairman to find out instead of going to the media. And above all, we are indicating to our general secretary or the secretary of the region that we, the chairman, receive the money and sign for it. So where there are operational challenges, they need to talk to us as constituency chairman and our executive to resolve that problem. And that after that press conference, about 17 of us, the chairman who met and took that decision and had interaction with the media, he decided to suspend me. And the provisions that he quoted, to be frank with you, were, not in order. Because you cannot suspend me based on the fact that I have disclosed internal party matter to the media. Meanwhile, that information is already disclosed by our flag bearer, John Dramani Mahama.
Okay. And Bismarck, just a few things. From the understanding we have, the letter that was signed by your regional secretary has the support of all regional executives. The one that is revoking your suspension was by just the chairman. Constitutionally, can your chairman revoke a decision taken by the executive committee, and can he do that alone?
He can do that. He has the veto power.
Under what law? Under what article of your constitution or any of the orders or rules you work with?
And there is no article that also suggests that somebody can preside over illegality, and that illegality should stand in our constitution.
But when your chairman traveled, he handed over power of attorney to his vice chair, who acts in his stead. Now, if this vice chair is superintended over a meeting with the secretary and everybody else, and they take a decision to suspend you, that holds. And so, a chairman who is away should not be able to revoke that decision singularly. Can he? Is that how things work in your party?
Omaro, it's very strange that the very morning that the chairman indicated his intention through that letter, the same afternoon, the regional executive can perpetrate this illegality. The issue is that you read a memo he sent to them, indicating to them that agenda and decisions that are very critical to the progress of this party or inimical to the party, communicate with me. Take my input before you implement. The question is that a decision to suspend the constituency chairman is a very serious thing that the regional chairman must be aware.
But why must your chairman be micromanaging your party from wherever he is on the globe when you have active executives? I mean, as of the time he was leaving, he said he should be communicated to via WhatsApp or email. And I'm saying that why does he have to micromanage your party when you have several other executives who are still in office and who can act in his stead based on what your constitution says?
The power is bestowed in his seat as the regional chairman.
Which power he handed over to the vice chairman? And
that if you hand over to your subordinate and is causing damage, would you allow it to stand? No, he must veto, and his power must be respected. All that he's saying is that I wanted to travel. Because of that, you took advantage to perpetuate illegality. I am not going. I will solve the problem. Omaru, is there any situation where you suspend somebody without listening to the person? Is there a situation? There's no situation in our, or a provision in our party constitution that you can stand and suspend somebody 6 months straight. No, our constitution didn't say that. The constitution says that you cannot suspend anybody 6 months before the beginning of or commencement of disciplinary action against the person. All that you can do is 1 month. You refer to disciplinary committee. If the disciplinary committee could not achieve any results and the suspending authority realize that the suspension is very relevant, they can renew, and you can renew for 5 times, making it 6 months. So straight, you cannot give the person or executive at any level of the party 6 months suspension straight.
Very well.
He the regional secretary in that manner, and the regional chairman must correct it.
Okay, thank you for speaking to us. That's Bismarck Abobi Aite, Ayawaso West Wagon chairman. Well, it's a bit funny to give him the title. I'm not sure how to say that. His regional secretary writes a letter suspending him. His regional chairman revokes that suspension. So let me just say he's Bismarck Abobi Aite of the National Democratic Congress in Ayawaso West Wagon. We've tried to reach the National Party office for comment on this. We've not been successful. We've not been successful in reaching the regional chairman either. And the secretary as well, we could not reach them to know what the way forward for the party is. But let's talk about the way forward for the other party, the New Patriotic Party. It has been busy in the Asin North constituency today, and Charles Opoku has emerged victorious in the Asin North parliamentary election of the NPP. He polled 397 votes against Frederick Amwa Che, who got 136 votes. The election was keenly contested as supporters of the two candidates rallied support for their preferred choice. Charles Opoku is set to face the NDC's James Jachikwesin ahead of the June 27 by-elections. The national executives of the NPP, led by General Secretary Justin Kodia Frimpong, threw their support behind the winner. Some party supporters of James Jachikwesin, who spoke to City News, say they are hopeful he will emerge victorious on June 27. So that's a story that our correspondent Calvi Tete has sent to us from the Central region. I have to make way now for Netili Neti to bring us the latest in the world of business. And then after that, we'll go to the on-air series of the City Business Festival. Tonight's topic is taking advantage of the e-business environment. And the guest is Benedict Bento. He's Senior Manager, Enterprise Marketing and Portfolio Management at MTN.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. City Business News. Be informed.
Time now for City Business News on Eyewitness News, powered by citybusinessnews.com. My name is Nete Ajahu. Let's settle for the details now. The Association of Ghana Industries is calling on government to review some outdated trade policies to give a boost to local producers within the printing, packaging, and labeling space. The association explains that with the growing presence of industrial revolution in the country, local producers have built their competences to meet the demand of clients and society. These comments were made by the CEO of the Association of Ghana Industries, Seth Chuma Kwabwa, on the sidelines of the opening of ProPac Exhibition and Trade Conference in Accra.
Yes, in my statement, I talked about what they call the Florence Convention, which was a convention that was signed way back in the 1950s. And the idea was that it was signed to promote education, because at the time we didn't have that many sophisticated printing presses or printing firms in Ghana. To encourage you to bring more of the textbooks so that, because it's a learning material, they take out the duties. So the convention was signed among several countries that when you bring textbooks, printed textbooks, you shouldn't pay duty on it. At that time, it made a lot of sense because we were promoting education. Unfortunately, this law has stayed with us up to today. Whilst we have moved on in terms of capacity to print. So today we have some of the most sophisticated printing firms in Ghana. So we really don't have enough printing capacity to do the best quality printing in the country. Unfortunately, because this law is there, when you import raw materials to print, you pay duty on it. But when you import the finished product, you don't pay duty on it. So we think that this kind of policy is not helping local producers. And if we want to create jobs, if we want to grow the economy, these are some of the areas we should look at.
Seth Chuma Kwabwa is the CEO of the Association of Ghana Industries. Minister of Trade and Industry, K.T. Hammond, has given the strongest indication that government will not relent in its efforts to ensure the economy bounces back after the impact of COVID-19 in the Russia-Ukraine war. The IMF projects that the COVID-19 pandemic will cost the global economy $12.5 trillion through 2024. Speaking at the 2023 Ghana Investment and Opportunity Summit in the UK, K.T. Hammond expressed confidence in government's efforts to revamp the economy.
We're going to succeed. We would succeed. I am very confident that we would succeed. The president has been talking about it. What happened recently, it's only a hiatus. We had been doing well. Finance ministers and others will tell you our numbers were extremely impressive until, of course, the double whammy of a fight going on and then COVID. We will do well. We had always had policies in place to ensure that our trade policies were pretty good. We had extensive coverage of trading activity. So you have been a fantastic, fantabulous advertiser for Ghana, and I'm sure you would continue to be. I mean, to the extent that this has been hosted on our behalf, goes a long way to emphasize the point that you're always looking after our interests.
Minister of Trade and Industry K.T. Hammond speaking. Then finally, energy analyst Doris Edem Agbevivi has expressed concern over the potential consequences of climate change on the Ghanaian economy. A recent World Bank report for Ghana noted that urgent climate actions are needed to prevent an estimated 1 million people from falling into poverty as a result of climate shocks. Doris Agbevivi made these concerns during her address at the 43rd Management Week celebration hosted by the University of Ghana Business School.
Of course, we have thermal, we have hydro. But the thermal capacity of the thermal plants that we have that produce electricity for Ghana, mainly as a couple of years ago, were using heavy fuel oil. You can Google heavy fuel oil and see the emissions out of heavy fuel oil. But with time, we have tried to bring that down, and we're now using gas. As you know, Ghana has found gas in abundance, and we're now using gas for most of our generations. That is where we want to move as a country, really. But if you see that same energy transition fund, one of the key things that was mentioned was also how to be able to harness that same electricity for sustainability.
Doris Edem Agbibi is the energy analyst. And that's it for City Business News on Eyewitness News. It was powered by citybusinessnews.com. My name is Nete Linete Ajaho. Have a good evening.
City News.